Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nah.
Hello.
So, we're a few players short tonight, but let's face it, after missing 2 weeks in a row, I think we're going to go anyway. I mean, obviously, or else we wouldn't be here.
Nope, we're totally just starting the recording for like 5 minutes of, so we're canceling session.
That would be hilarious, and I don't put it past me not to do
That would be hilarious, actually.
Time!
that. Hey, look, he arrived
Hello! Sorry.
just in time not to get
What?
himself banned from having more porn.
What?
What happened?
Josh was holding Gradius's porn hostage.
Not my porn. Hope he didn't throw it us back.
I mean,
But seriously, I'm sorry. Did I miss anything?
Not
The
particularly.
intro song.
Okay.
Self-aggrandizement.
Man, I ain't missing that.
I have Ghirardelli chocolate.
Yummy.
I just ate like 5 s'mores.
Well, fuck you too.
And at this point, Jing made a bitter enemy this day.
Enemy Jing?
Sure, yes, this'll work.
I mean, if it was friend Tedric, then it would be enemy Jing.
everything makes so much sense now.
Character sheet, enemy Jing.
I thought you already made the linear guild.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
Don't spoil the surprise. So, I guess getting back into it. Party just finished having a lovely talk with a bunch of fairies, right?
Yes.
Yes, it was surprisingly civil.
Surprisingly.
Well, I mean, it could have not. But let's return to the mansion then, for the moment. So, what do from here, my good people?
Nobody knows.
No, nobody knows. I love
Nobody
asking.
remembers. What the fuck were we doing?
Okay, I remember what we were doing.
No worries.
What we were doing, and it's up to you how long it takes you to do this, was that going off of Agnes's crazy dream, you were all going to head back to Muraganda to look into what happened to Ametrine, because it's been weeks. Actually, I think at this point it's been a month, and you haven't heard Jack, Diddley, or Squat.
Sounds about right.
Barring finding nothing of that, I believe Malgarian also suggested going to what was that fight called? Sorry, its name has slipped my mind, even though I made it. Curse. Kefly.
The portal city.
Yes, the portal city with the gigantic markets where you can find everything and where everything is run by the Gnomeric authority.
And we happen to know that the vampires have a presence at.
Potentially.
If nothing else, they've been using it as a hub of moving things, so.
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to Muraganda. I got medicine. Everything's happy time.
Everything is, as you say, happy time.
Yes. I believe that we were going to take some time to finish off items for the party and for Fizzle to make herself some happy pills, some painkillers.
Extra strength version.
Yes. Also, where the hell are my GM's notes? This is
Real
how you know.
questions.
This is how you know the game's been going on too long, is you don't know where your own GM's notes have gone.
Sounds about right.
Okay, I found them. I will say that it's taken about. You said that each wealth level is like a day, correct?
No, it scales up like quickly and stupidly. One sec.
Oh
Pulling
yeah,
it up now.
I remember this. So it would, yeah.
Yeah, you decided that you were going to knock it down like considerably because we're building things that are wealth level 4 to 5. So it says 4 days per wealth level per item.
So like 16 days each. 16
But then you said you were going to knock that down to like a few days each.
Yeah, to like a day per wealth level or something like that.
Yeah, because like following the progression, wealth levels 1 through 3 says 2 days per wealth level, so it goes 2, 4, and 6. Then the moment it goes to wealth level 4, it becomes 16 days.
Yeah, no.
And then level 6 and 7 is 1 week per wealth level. So then it goes from 20 days to 2 months.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna say you guys are gonna be in there for maybe another 2 weeks tops, because like we had one more item to make. That's like 4 days, and Fizzle needs to make her medicine, which is like I don't know, another 4 or 5 days. So like 2 weeks tops.
I think you just put an egg timer on Fizzle's head, and every time it goes ding, item pops out.
I'm not an easy bake oven, bitch.
I'm not a telephone. Your point?
You are.
Oh, that's good.
You would be if they made very easy bake ovens.
See, that's more the angle I was going to go with.
Oh.
And I thank you, Goodies, for that.
She did just advise the fairies to embrace technology.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I'm pretty
did.
sure you could convince the Queen of the Fairies to embrace technology a little bit more aggressively if you gave her a Hitachi magic wand.
probably not wrong, though.
I mean, scaled up to her size is going to look more like an impact drill, but
That's what I was about to
Magic
say. I was
staff.
like, it's gonna be a really big vibrator.
Hitachi staff of the Magi.
We can
And
do
demonetize.
it.
we have not used any vulgar terms for women's mammaries.
Call you on my shell phone?
It is a personal massager for your sore back.
Clearly.
Wink, wink.
And that's why you can't feel your pelvis anymore. So remember when I said something about being on topic? Remember how that's not going to happen?
Well, that's just your fault.
Uh-huh.
It is. It's your fault.
I know it is. I'm not arguing that.
Also, that was a pathetic D100 roll.
It really was.
So
That wasn't. During these 2 weeks, you suffer one more glitch. During this glitch, all of a sudden, all the wood in the house comes alive for about 25 seconds.
But is it just alive and aware?
No, it's not alive and aware. Like, all of the wood literally kind of turns back into trees and starts rapidly growing for 25 seconds.
oh, so it's just a really cool house for a while. So when does this happen?
I'd say day 11.
Yeah, but at what time on day 11?
Midday.
At
Yeah.
11:11 on the 11th day.
Sure, why not? We'll go
Dawn
with that.
of the third day.
Are you sure it didn't happen in the morning?
Morning wood.
I was trying to avoid that joke, but thank you.
I mean, it's before noon, so if it happens at 11:11, it's still technically morning.
And demonetize. Remind me again why we don't do these over Twitch. So,
Because you don't want to have to deal with Twitch's policies? As I believe what you said it was?
I don't know. So, no, it was because I wanted a more direct upload to saving it on YouTube for archival sake. Anyway, so now that I've got my fetish for random dice and chaos magic out of the way, 14 days have passed. What have the rest of you done in that time? Well,
Yelled
Fizzle's
at
been your
Malgarian.
easy pick. Yeah, let's get to that.
I was gonna yell at Bulgarian.
Matt,
Too
I'd
bad.
like to suggest that before or after we got interrupted, before they went off to do their thing, there was a "we'll revisit this later" comment.
Mm-hmm.
And the later is occurring somewhere in these 2 weeks.
Probably the most reasonable way of going about it.
To avoid time fuckery.
Mm-hmm.
Does Fizzle keep tea in her manor?
Yes,
What kind of tea?
all kinds.
Pot tea.
But you gotta be careful because some of the pots labeled tea are just spices.
What kind of spices are in the mislabeled pots?
The spiciest of spices.
So Akvis will track down Melgarian with a steaming cup of something that smells significantly like some sort of brewed ghost pepper.
Nice.
Excellent.
I believe it is human tradition to accompany weighty conversations with warm drinks.
Neither of you are human.
He looks like one. It's fine.
He hates looking like one.
She knows. It's part of the point.
So I guess for the sake of this conversation, also I apologize for the loud sound. I have carbonated lemonade, and it's open now.
I didn't hear anything.
You
I
didn't?
heard it.
No.
I did.
Okay, well, Gradius is just deaf. We'll just go with that then.
Whoa,
Like,
hey.
it sounded a lot like someone opening a bottle of champagne.
Kinda. It's
Widen the poll a bit before we conclude that I'm deaf.
nope.
Maybe she just has superhuman flute hearing.
On topic, people. On topic.
There's a topic.
In anger.
Don't die, man.
It's funny because she's gay.
This is my game. This is what it's come to now.
Sweetie,
I'm tingling.
Josh, why are you surprised? At this point, you definitely shouldn't be.
You never fail to amaze. Let's get to the scene.
Tea and anger.
So Akvis is holding out a steaming cup of brewed cayenne peppers of some variety to Malgarian, wherever he might be.
Okay, we're gonna say that they're in room 16 where he was working on trying to like fiddle with something. And actually that is way the wrong icon for the moment. So when she comes walking in, he just kind of looks up and looks back down to the little, like, superficially it looks like Lincoln logs, but he's obviously like trying to put some sort of like little humanoid shape together, and they're not hinging properly or whatnot. And when he looks up her, he just kind of nods and looks down. He's like, usually it's alcohol, but I suppose.
Some things are lost in translation, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. They're not also all universal across the planes, but
Consider it a peace offering of sorts, perhaps. And she'll set the mug down on the corner of the table, careful not to put it in the way of anything. You cannot just hide away in here from your problems, you know.
I had been about to say that there wasn't a need for any peace offering of sorts because you and I have never butted heads, Akvis.
She smiles.
So what is it that you wanted to talk about, Agvis? As he's like trying to see how he can get this arm to actually socket into the shoulder, and then it falls down onto the table. He's kind of staring at it.
What did I want to talk about? You don't think that it could have anything to do with your behavior from earlier in the week? Your behavior for the past handful of weeks, Margarian? As if your mind has not been entirely where it should be. Perhaps there has been something irking you.
There are a number of things irking all of us, Agvis. Functionally fighting a war with what amounts to all of a handful of people is fairly high on the list.
Your carriage changed dramatically after departing your plane. What transpired there to throw you off of your stride so thoroughly that it might affect your, shall we call it, performances?
You're not in the room.
I apologize to the stream for the fact that my one of my mouse buttons is bound to backstep, and I just tabbed out of the game and back in. So, dear viewers, come back. I can do better.
Regarding her comment, he just kind of, he doesn't so much like furrow his brow per se, but like you can see the like his jaw. How to put it? You know how you can tell when someone's face gets a lot more tense, even though they're not actually clenching anything.
The Viashino tilts her head because they don't have an equivalent expression, covered in scales as they are.
Mm.
And she steps closer and leans on the edge of the table. You seem to be under some duress. Are you alright? Should I find a medic?
Agvis, save the smartass tactics for Fizzle.
Ineffective though they might be here, something is on your mind. Something that is affecting the way you carry yourself in our cohort. Am I incorrect?
He kind of sets the little project down, and he just rubs the bridge of his nose with his left index finger. What is it that you want me to say, Agvis? What is it that you're fishing for?
I'm fishing for an
Yes, I am not pleased with how the discussion went back on... Josh, what did we name that damn plane again? Emilterra, thank you. Yes, I am not pleased with how the discussion went on Emilterra, but it got our goals moving. We have the Sphinx now able to act. We've been getting our resources consolidated for the first time since this conflict came at us. We have the Codex.
And yet your temper is still short. You are
because none of it is going anywhere.
Still irked by this in a way that is bleeding over into your behaviors. Consider this as someone who is paying enough attention to give a shit. Are you alright?
He just... this is the point where the little stool that he's been sitting on, he just leans forward and puts his elbows on the counter, or on the table, and just one thumb on each side of the bridge of his nose. And he just looks down, he's looking down at the table. He starts very slowly rubbing his fingers, like just along the corners of his eyebrows. and he's quiet for a good few seconds, and she would probably recognize the look in his eyes as whenever it is that he's trying to ponder how to say a thing. Usually, whenever it's come up, it's been like when they were talking to the king back on Tedrix's plane, where he's calculating. And when he finally pulls his hands away from his face, he just rests his chin on his knuckles. The Dragon Council of Emulterra was completely explicit in their declaration that I am not of them anymore. Within my people, the only way that one loses their title of becoming a broodlord is through death. I have been told by my people I am dead to them, Agvis. The whole reason why I collected Fizzle and the others whom I was traveling with on Muraganda to collect the Codex in the first place was in an effort to try and save my people from how broken the plane is, and to save them from having to live in an existence where they're constantly having to police the stability of their world against the... He you could tell that he was about to say lesser, smaller races. The whole point of why I looked for that codex was to try and see if there was a way to reasonably forge a plane into existence in which they would be able to survive, or at the very least, hopefully find a plane in which constant struggle is not the norm. I have dedicated centuries of life for the betterment of my family and for the rest of my kin. And at this point, he just kind of throws his elbows are still on the table, but he kind of throws his hands up and then lets them fall down, and kind of like a gesture of exasperation. And then this would probably be one of the first times that she's actually looked at his face and seen like actual, genuine confusion in his eyes as he says, "This conflict is now all I have. This lord in the tower and wiping that House Casimir from existence is all I have now. So, yes, something is bugging me. Because now I have gone from being a patron of creation and arts and industry, and the only thing I have to put to the name of Malgarian is the Dead Broodlord and the Destroyer."
She opens her mouth and then closes it again. Tips her head to one side and sort of smiles. It's the same kind of reptilian half smile that he's probably familiar with seeing on the faces of younger dragons and younger drakes. One of those little reminiscent kind of features that the Viashino share with the other reptilian races. A lot of tooth. Maybe some sincerity, but a lot more tooth than sincerity. "So you mean to say that you now fit in with the rest of us?" "Disenchanted, are we, Malgarian?" A little bit frustrated, flustered by the lack of progress. You, of all people, should know that these things do not happen quickly.
I don't expect them to happen quickly, Agnes.
No, you just expect them to happen on your timetable.
You'll be dead if it were to happen by the time it happens on my timetable.
Would we? With your patience?
Planeswalkers are not immortal.
But I dabble
I
in
am frustrated.
powers unlike that of a typical planeswalker. Death does
Your powers
not
dabble
age.
in you, Agnes.
Death does not age, whether it dabbles in me or I in it. Josh, my feet showed up.
Yay.
What feet?
Feet, trait, whatever, perks. Perk.
Yeah, I don't. Which one are you talking
Ageless.
about? Oh.
Akvis is ageless.
Oh, shit. That's neat.
Things that neither the player nor the character knew, and now they both know.
I try to keep my nose out of everybody's character sheets.
What I missed? What?
Akvis has the ageless perk.
Oh,
She is technically immortal.
aw, cute.
I don't know if cute is the right word.
Totally cute. She and Malgarian can be forever lizard buddies.
This brings up an
Malgarian isn't
interesting
immortal.
point that Josh and I have not had a conversation about how old Akvis actually is.
Nope.
Or how long her patron's been screwing with her memories.
Yep. Whether or not she remembers how long her patron has been screwing with her memories. I have walked these worlds for long enough to know that some things cannot be rushed, Malgarian. And I have enough strange missing pieces that I am left to try and fill in to understand your frustration with their pace. But kindly pull your skull out of your ass and
Agnes.
focus on what is important and at hand.
Agnes. It is not the pace of accomplishment. It is the condemnation. It is not one that I expect that I do not hold delusions that I am the only one who has dealt with in them, that I'm the only one that has had to give up on things. The whole point of us being here has been a subsequent cause of that.
Welcome home.
Your condemnations are your own, Malgarian. As all of ours are. Architects of our own fate as we may be. Your expectations of yourself are the ones which will keep you from accomplishing what you must. Broodlord, perhaps not in name anymore. But what you make of it, that is what you stand for now. So now perhaps you see why I came with a preemptive peace offering. Whatever it may be. She kind of looks askance at the mug that she set on the table originally. Know that I mean nothing offensive by my words today. Simply concerns voiced as best I know how.
Huh? Where are they?
At this point, he's just kind of looking. He's not so much looking at her as like about a foot to her left and past her, not even really focused on the wall. As he's just kind of like grinding his molars slightly.
You are not alone in this, Malgarion. Take that as you will. And she will turn and move to leave. If he doesn't stop her.
No, he's gonna let her walk out.
She leaves the cup of brewed cayenne peppers on the table.
He's gonna look back down at the little little figurine of sorts that he'd been trying to work on. And he reaches over with one hand and picks it up by the head of it. It's still missing its one arm and half of one of its legs. And he's gonna glare at the little simulacrum of the prince that killed his heir that he'd been fiddling with. And then he's gonna throw it into the cup and just let it fall over and let both of them fall over to the floor. And then he's just gonna sit there and stew in his thoughts for a little while.
Days later. Because I'm going to assume that's scene, right?
Yeah, that's scene.
Mm-hmm.
Are you satisfied, Matt?
I think it was good. I think he's still gonna be a little bit pissy for a few days.
I mean, fair.
Over those few days, he probably does not talk to Akvis very much because while she may not have meant any disrespect,
She was a brat.
she was very abrupt. And one of his one of his flaws is proud.
So is hers.
Mm-hmm. So somebody calling him out on his shit, he does not take too well.
Even less so because he knows she was right.
Kind of. He doesn't believe that she's right, but he knows that she is. And he's like one of the thoughts that he had going on in his head was like, no fucking shit. What do you think I'm trying to work through?
You idiot.
I kind of just wanted to have Fizzle yell in from out of the room. If you piss him off so much he turns into a dragon and breaks my house, I will kill you both. But of course, she's busy. She can't hear you.
Your house?
Yes!
In the middle
my
of her
house!
sleep.
You're squatting in the halls of a dead man that no one comes to because they all believe it's haunted.
Nope.
Josh, possession is 9/10 of the law, and the dead cannot hold real estate.
He's not dead either.
Nobody knows that.
He fused his flesh to put to the bricks of the basement by accident.
Another reason not to go to the basement.
I don't know if Fizzle knows this. You could take that information however you want.
Technically, he hasn't told Fizzle to leave, so
That's fair.
I mean, really, he's just a very basically just the ideal landlord.
But no, real talk. That was what his last experiment was. He was trying to basically bind elementals into himself. Did it wrong and ended up like partially between here and the elemental planes. His flesh fused into the elemental nature of the basement, which was the literal brick. So no, I don't think he's going to be coming back and saying, "Fizzle, what are you doing squatting in my house?" Or if he does, it's just going to be a mouth floating in space.
Well,
She'll be like, "You're not using it. Shut up."
I've literally been it the whole time.
Right? You can't live in you and be you at the same time. Shut up.
Every moment I live is agony.
Okay.
Anyway, a few days passed.
that would be. Now I'm just imagining him manifesting like that, but instead of telling Fizzle to get out, he just complains constantly.
The tasks are done. The items are made. The venison is complete. The talking between the two proud characters of the party is done.
Heart.
So what do?
I have a mechanics question really fast.
I might have a mechanic's answer, or I'm going to bullshit it. Take a guess.
The robes that you gave me a long time ago say armor M D2 F2.
You need 3 fortitude to wear them, and they have a durability of 2.
Okay. Thank
Yes, M stands for medium. Yes. What he said.
you. Cool. So, what is my defense bonus there then? 2?
2.
Cool. Thank you. That is all.
Awesome. So, the party makes its way from Araganda. Is there any particular way you wanted to leave the house?
With fire. No, not really. I'm probably doing it from outside.
And where on Muraganda are you jumping to specifically? You know quite a few places.
Did I recognize the forest in the dream? Beyond it just being on Muraganda.
You did not.
Bulgarian's vote is for going to crap, what was his name?
Vane?
Yeah, to Vane's stronghold.
Vane's too. The broken Vane's too.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Damn vampires burning down the library.
Sounds good to me.
Jane, any opinions?
Don't drink the tea from the red pot.
Good job.
I mean, I was on Miraganda for like 10 seconds, and it was just arrows and lagging behind and exhaustion and people kicking me in my sleep. So, I mean, my only opinion is fuck Miraganda.
That's about accurate.
Also, I somehow didn't realize that Ametrine had been kidnapped for like 5 weeks after it happened. So I kind of seemed like an asshole there. But it's not that I didn't care, I just didn't notice.
Josh, I would like to walk down to that tree line on the shore where we first swam out of the water way back when.
Okay. Well,
Fizzle seems excited.
let me set the scene real quick. It has been about a month since you last were here. As noted before, this whole hang on, sorry, I'm on the clicker. This whole thing has collapsed in.
So
And
the base is gone.
Yes. So, and probably this waterfall is also similarly not there now. There's like a series of rapids where it's. Also, upon your arrival on the bank, you notice immediately the smell of campfires.
We got friends.
But yes, you arrive more or less on the bank, close to where you were previously. You swam out of the base.
Let us greet our new friends.
Can I roll stealth? Can I just I hide. Actress in the Vidus, I hide. Or attempt to appear discreetly.
Okay. Make me a stealth check.
Fizzle, on the other hand, arrives like she's coming in on to a rock show. I don't know.
You want agility?
Pyrotechnics and
So you said we smell campfires. So that means they're already really close.
Yes.
Actress makes noise.
Agnes is not very good at hiding.
I mean, maybe they won't notice Acvis because Fizzle's making so much more noise.
Highly possible.
You don't actually have to say sneak with every step.
Wait, since when? Shit.
Sneaking was invented.
No, she's like pushed up against a rock, humming the theme song from like fucking.
Pink Panther.
Yep.
There we go. I was gonna say Mission Impossible, but Pink Panther.
Emperor's New Groove, Kronk. What's going on?
I think those are supposed to be the smoke from the campfires. No,
Yeah, but it didn't work out so well.
It's okay, we'll use our imagination.
Guys. It's a tabletop RPG. I don't have an imagination.
That's why we need miniatures.
I have lots of those.
I'll just buy you all Tabletop Simulator and we'll just play that then.
I've got it.
I've got it.
Oh shit.
What was the question?
Nothing. Don't worry. Yes. You can see smoke rising up that embankment. Yay, more fire. Fizzle arrives
Here
and
comes Fizzle.
Fizzle arrives in glitter and pyrotechnics and jazz hands,
And jazz hands.
and immediately frightens a caveman. Ah! Oh! Flees into the underbrush.
immediately frightens a what?
A caveman.
Oh,
Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon?
Human.
So like Homo erectus, Homo superior.
Man who lives in cave, not caveman.
Fantasy caveman, not real life caveman.
Okay. And if it makes you feel any better, I don't know what any of the words I just said meant.
Then why did you say that?
To mess with you.
And rocks fall and Genghis, he arrives and dies.
I'm also gonna point out Homo superior, I believe, is not real. It was something used in like the X-Men or something.
Oh, yeah, that's what Magneto called mutants, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
No,
Oops.
they're not mutants either. Alright, so you have frightened a poor native.
My
Did we-
work here is done.
did we recognize them at all from like where they might have come from during the orgy festival?
Actually, yes. The dude was dressed similarly to the individuals who were putting on the orgy festival.
So at this point, Malgarian is going to kind of, which first of all, he's looking a lot more like a like he's giving up on the whole blending in thing at the moment. He's actually still wearing like some like a stylized lamellar with a full helmet, and he's going to look over at Fizzle. I'm assuming then that your girlfriend must have sent somebody here to try and collect the books then.
But I guess so.
Books?
Yes,
all
there was.
the books that those vampires burned.
At this point, Malgarian's going to gesture towards the collapsed part of it there. There was a planeswalker by the name of Vane, the one who made the codex that we have. This was his tomb, where he kept the codex, and his personal library. When those vampires attacked, it's gone. Or very likely gone, at least.
Oh no, that library was on fire.
So yes, a planeswalker's entire lifetime of knowledge is just poof.
Because of vampires. Terrible, terrible vampires.
Despite the fur, you can actually see a little vein pop up over Jing's left eye.
So at what point, by the way, do we need to make like a sense motive check to really call Fizzle on her bullshit about the vampires? Did it because she did?
Whenever you want to call for the roll.
Oh, okay.
Should I roll deception then?
Yes.
See, what am I rolling in response? Perception?
I believe it's perception. I will point out, Fizzle, that you do have 9 legend points to reroll.
Oh dear lord.
Oh, since I got so many, why not? I'll throw one at it.
Oh my.
Well,
How many fate points do you want to burn today?
Not that many, because Fizzle doesn't really care. They're too high.
My d20 exploded, and then a d6 exploded.
it's fine. Everything is fine.
So at this point, Malgarian just kind of is looking at her, and he's got his helmet on, so nobody can really see him squinting at her through the eye slits, per se. And he's just going to shake his head, and he's going to start walking.
If there is any chance that any of this collection survived, I could nip in and look around a bit.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Have fun.
Let's figure out what's going on here first.
Yeah. Let's go see Arikari.
And at this point, like as they're walking towards the camps, Malgarian's going to kind of like brief everybody a little bit of what else was going on this plane. And the gist of it is there's a tribe of witches that use a lot of black magic, and we kind of disenfranchise their leader about black magic by virtue of walking in and being like, yes, but if you used other forms of magic as well, you could do things like this. And then I showed them a like super duper sword that I made with a legendary. I showed them the sword that I have on my hip still, that I made at a whim because I made a legendary roll in Fate. And she's like, oh, wow, what did you have to sacrifice for that? And he said, nothing. As well as a whole bunch of other conversation from everybody else's characters in which, yeah. The whole thing was that they had like either an annual or biannual festival deal where a whole bunch of the other tribes from the area will go to them with sacrifices so that the witches can help them with their magic. And in exchange, like, strong people from their tribes and whatnot breed with the witches and shit so that they can kind of keep their numbers up.
We should specify animal and human sacrifices.
Yes.
The blood must flow.
Correct. And then Fizzle showed Arikari the magic of finger banging.
Yep.
And Malgarian cast a fertility rite over the entire festival.
As you wander through this group, these peoples, yeah, every woman is pregnant.
Oh, so her whole tribe is
God.
over here?
Not her whole tribe. About half.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, they have cleared most of these trees, and not cleared. They have, cleared out the brush, things like that. Set up tents and huts. They have a permanent structure here, and yes, it's about half of the Blood Witches.
What's going on over here?
Oh, one other thing that was brought up in the summary is that Fizzle showed them how tanks work.
Yeah.
They also have the tank, though it seems to have broken down. It shows the struggles of being used as a pack animal for about a month, and is covered in weeds and detritus that it has plowed through the underbrush. 3 of its wheels have fallen off.
So you don't.
Another interesting thing. A few of the primitives, the tribals, are reading books.
Ooh.
Badly burned books.
I say, Mr. Caveman, did you perhaps liberate those books from the fallen monolith behind you?
Priestess did, yes.
Bless you, sir. Bless you.
Point
It's
me
fine.
to Arikari's tent, please.
Hey, look, Bulgarian has a new token.
And it is hauling ass.
He's also apparently really tall.
Apparently.
I am king of this mountain.
So,
Bulgarian, get down from there. You look silly.
Priest, the reading caveman goes, her tent up higher on the hill. You will know. It has big otter skull.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
It has big otters.
And if I have time, I'm coming back to fix you, baby. She says to the tank.
Thank God, I thought she was still talking to the caveman.
The caveman widens his eyes. Please do not.
Do not fix the tank?
It
What?
killed 6 people with flame breath.
I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. You
He's
just
sup-
gotta learn how to aim it right.
No. He points to the turret, which apparently misfired at one point, probably due to an overloading of powder. and yeah, the receiver for the ammunition is blown off completely.
Oh, I'm gonna fix you, baby. You'll
Did
be
you
okay.
Algarian's gonna start walking towards Arikari's tent and take off his helmet.
Did you just leave them with a siege engine without teaching anyone how to use it?
We taught them how to use it.
Thoroughly?
He holds up his arm up so that he can point a finger as if this is like a major talking point. She taught a bunch of drunk people how to drive the tank.
He does have a point. They were pretty drunk at the time. Anyway, on to Arikari's tent.
Hey, Sarah,
And
Sup?
fun times.
Agnes is getting looks and murmurs of she's a red scaled, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, been picturing her like her picture all the time.
Yeah, there are whispers going on. It's like, I've never seen a red one. What is she red? They're supposed to be green. If you could hear any of my whispering.
She kind of looks around her. And, is there red on this plane enough red on this plane that I can draw on to just, like, make my scales shine a little bit brighter red?
Yes.
With a little bit of inner fire?
Yes.
That's what I do.
Okay, they are impressed.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's mana burn.
Nice.
I'll allow it.
So, you approach Arikari's tent. As you enter, Arikari looks a little different. She's switched out her black fur robes for a set of red ones. Similar make, as it follows the kind of the tech of her tribe. She doesn't wear that headdress made out of bones anymore. Instead, she has like a I don't even know how to put it. Like basically a beaded chain woven into her hair, covered in small fangs and things like that. And as she is pacing around her tent, which is in fact the opening flap decorated with the upper jawbone of some form of giant otter, as you'd assume, or weasel, or other predatory muscaline.
She is also a folk hero.
I'm glad you got the reference.
I think we
Then
all
again-
got the rest.
Then again, how did you not? That's because you weren't in there for that campaign.
I'm just thinking no.
And yes, she's pacing about the fire within the tent.
Honey, I'm
Reading-
home.
Oh. She looks up from the book she's reading. You notice that she's been working a lot of magic. Like a lot of magic.
Has she still been running black?
No. Red now.
Ugh, a woman after my own heart.
And amounts of blue and white.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see that your studies have been going well. Oh, which Josh, context for you, he has the same face as he did last time they were here.
Well, within reason. What we could dig out of the rubble. When did this happen?
I don't know, a couple months ago. There were
About
vampires.
about 6 weeks by now. Almost right after the festival.
That's deeply tragic. At least the casket you made for Bane survived.
I would be genuinely surprised if it didn't.
Oh, I don't know. The fire was seemed rather
Didn't we encase his corpse in diamond?
in glass, yes, but glass and metal. Oh, no, wasn't it obsidian?
Like
No.
translucent obsidian. It was meant to be observable through.
Pretty sure it was actually, yes, diamond.
Or some other form of crystal.
Yeah, some kind
Maybe.
of crystal anyway. Yeah.
Goddamn, if fate was much more powerful than this game.
Yes, it really was.
Uh-huh. There's a reason why converting characters got really hard to do.
Yep. Okay, so yes. Yes, the casket survived. Most of the hallways survived. The entrance is absolutely destroyed.
You had to excavate around it.
Much digging.
What brought you back to the tomb after we left?
And she gives a look to Fizzle. Differences? Try.
The tribe's split now?
Yes. Yes, that's the best way to put it.
I'm
A lot of the older, more traditional witches didn't take to the ideas of that we were bringing,
and there was a coup.
yes, more or less.
Do I
Those
need
that
to go punch some sense into some?
no, you did quite enough.
Given the given the personalities of those other witches, I do not expect that they're going to leave you alone, though. And this place is hardly as defensible as their grounds were.
I'm gonna fix the tank.
Please don't. I don't know if my tribesmen are ready to deal with that responsibly.
But she's broken.
And she fixes you with a look, and they're the ones who broke her.
I have an alternative idea.
Largely.
Jing,
Yes.
how well do you think that you would do at trying to study automated blue golems that are animated through blue mana and trying to subvert their operation so that they could be controlled by verbal command?
I could probably figure out how, but it's going to fall to Fizzle to actually do it.
At this point, Malgarian just looks over at Fizzle and smiles. Army Stompy Golems versus Tank.
Hmm.
There
Where
you
are
go.
these golems you speak of?
In the collapsed tomb.
So they are already part of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
As much a part of this world as, what Vane brought into it.
You mean the big square mountains are not, in fact, the byproduct of working by cavemen? Gasps!
I
I am
thought they were naturally occurring.
No, he made them.
Yeah, he was a lithomancer,
Oh.
remember?
Okay. You two may not be particularly aware of this, but I'm a smartass and kind of sarcastic.
No.
No.
We had no idea.
When did this happen? What are the symptoms? Is there a cure?
Yes, profound amounts of sex.
Get on that, Jing.
I don't like the way you said that.
Go into your dragon form. Power bottoms will make it fit.
And demonetized.
Like we weren't already.
Were we ever monetized?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
If we get demonetized hard enough, it'll go into a buffer overflow and they'll give us a bunch of money.
Ooh.
Sure. So, what's Agnes doing in all this?
Looking around at the trees, the type of trees, and still kind of listening to the whispers of the people around her. Are there any that stand out as, like, being particularly vocal about what they're saying or particularly loud about what they're saying?
Some of them. One of them actually deliberately walks up to her and asks, why is she so far from the, what did I call that tribe? Crap, this was years ago. Shit.
Green scales?
Actually, I don't think I named them anything.
I don't think you did either. Because they were one of the first ones we ran into, so they didn't, like, they may have introduced themselves as a particular clan, but
We'll just call them the Wild Riders.
sounds about right.
It's what she's doing so far from the Wild Rider tribe. Also, he asks where's her sickle claw.
She will hold out her hand and pull her scythe out of the ether. And smile thinly. I walk a different path. I'm looking for one of my own. Have you seen others like me?
But yes, but they green, and they ride the sickle claw. They live not far from here.
Have you seen others of red?
No, never red. Only green.
Do I have any loose? Can I suggest that I have a few loose scales? And pull one off.
I guess it depends on if her species molts at like all of it at once, or if they just regrow individual scales.
I mean, she's the only Viashino in the game right now from Asgul, so she has free will to say.
I will claim that I molt individual scales and regrow them bit by bit. I will find one loose scale and pull it off, or pull it free and hand it to him. A token, then, to remember me by. And if you see others of red, or if you remember having seen any. I would be indebted to learn of it.
I remember.
Also, counterpoint, you're a powerful necromancer. You want to necrotize one of your scales? That's well within your power.
True.
Scale is now self-aware.
You can
But
necromant
is the third?
What?
just a sentient swarm of scales.
Oh, cool.
I know what my third Vidus will be.
Oh my. I'm so going back to the tent for a moment. Arikari's. I don't know if they will chase us. They are. They want to continue to try to do the old ways of blood and sacrifice. They need to maintain their position there. I don't doubt that eventually that will falter, but I think we will be well entrenched by that point.
Side thought, Josh. As we were walking along, did we see the two that Malgarian spent the evening with at the festival?
Both pregnant.
But they are here and not at the other camp then.
Hang on.
Oh boy, he's gonna flip some coins over there.
One is.
I was going to say, I'll drop fate points to change it so that they're both here.
How many fate points are you willing to drop?
That depends. Cause, isn't
Give
that a
me
thing that
two.
you can do?
No, it's not something you can do with legend points. That was something you could do with fate points.
Oh, fate point, right.
But you give me 2 legend points, I will say they're both here.
Okay, I'm
You
good
have
with that.
8.
Counterpoint, half dragon scion of blood magic. How badass would that be?
It would be very badass, but imagine how well Malgarian's going to take it to two of his half breed or not, two of his offspring being on opposite sides of an ideological dispute.
Not good.
No.
Well, maybe that could be what brings them together.
Fighting? Okay. Dante and Virgil are not a good example for a healthy brother-brother relationship.
But they are an example of a brother-brother relationship.
Jackpot. So yes, both individuals are here, and they are both pregnant.
Well, I mean, I figured that, given that we rolled and it was just, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like hentai levels.
But yes. So to
Jing will.
Jing will.
Jing's just gonna look at Malgarian and follow his eyes to the two pregnant cavemen. And facepalm.
Okay. Gradius. I don't know what kind of sex ed you've had. I know hentai foundry's a thing, and for affinity has probably colored some of your perspectives, but biologically speaking, cavemen don't get pregnant.
Oh snap!
Linguistically speaking, you knew what I meant. Shut up.
Semantics.
Roosters
Don't lay eggs, but we still call them chickens.
Okay. More semantics.
Anyway, no, I was just curious on if they were here or not, because that would be a point Malgarian would have to address if they weren't.
We're gonna go kidnap two pregnant women.
So, that we would be giving a wonderful example for the players for Shackles of Fate. Okay, so Arcari is going to follow you guys along as you do your things. What are you going to do?
Well, first we need to ask Arikari if she has seen Ametrine.
Okay, so Arcari, the one with the wings.
Yes.
No, I have not seen her.
She was separated from the rest of us, and we have not seen her since.
If she is here on Muruganda, actually, no, she wouldn't say Muruganda because they're at a state of history where they wouldn't have named their plane.
No, but we did tell her that their plane had been named by others.
Okay. If she is on Muruganda, she has not approached our people.
Have you heard anything from the Wild Riders about her, potentially?
No,
Or anything that could remind you of her?
She scratches her head a little bit. We did find a few crystals in the forest nearby. Hang on, I still have them in my tent.
Who's carrying the codex?
Me, I think? I'm not honestly sure.
We need to make sure someone marks that on their sheet.
Because it had been Tedrix, so it can't really shapeshift with Malgarian, can it?
No.
Because we can't exactly go and hammer space it all the time. It's about the same size as Fizzle, so yeah, it's either Agvis or Jing.
So do you trust the book to the scholar or the necromancer?
It's not a matter of trust, but Gradius does make it to more game sessions.
That is fair.
Oof. Whoa.
It's in the notes. Jing has the has the book.
You fools, I'm gonna draw so many foxes in the margins.
That's better than what Fizzle would draw on the margins if she could carry it.
Anyway, so when she goes to go get the crystals, Malgarian's going to look over at Jing and be like, let's see if the codex is potentially able to try and scry for her once it can use the crystals as a additional connection.
It's been a hit or miss tactic, but yes, let's try it.
None of the rest of us can scry, so may as well, roll the dice of fate, as it were. Roll credits.
I mean, that would make more sense if we were still playing Fate.
Yes.
Jing will very carefully, almost reverently, take the book out of its satchel and, after opening it, address it as, Lord Book, are you awake?
The book's ink scrawls across the page. I do not sleep. I am not human.
It was a courtesy. What are we asking him again?
Arikari returns with the crystals. And yes, they seem to be. They aren't whole chunks, they're fragments of Aventrine's wings. About 3 of them. About the size, I'd say, of like a thumbnail.
That really hits me as nightmare fuel for some reason. I don't know why.
I'm sorry, what hit you with nightmare fuel? Because things cut out really hard on my end for a second.
Finding little fragments of her wings like that.
Yeah, so the guy that she was hunting had been hunting her people and trying to use, yeah, because their wings are super valuable.
Ugh.
Because they're pretty much condensed mana.
What are we asking the book again?
If it can use the fragment of her wing to try and scry for her.
Lord Book, could you get Amatrine's scent from these chunks and tell us where she is?
The ink swirls again. I am not a bloodhound, but I know your meaning.
Oh,
But
good,
I
it's
did-
taking after Agvis.
Oh shit!
I've taught it some things.
That book just showed you, Jing.
Yes, I'm sorely humbled. Great scholar, Holy Jing, cannot tell a dog from a book.
The Vidus that was once a wolf barks.
Would you please put your book back on a shelf, Agvis?
Excuse me? Vidus barks again.
It's not an entire
skin.
book, it's just the spine.
Ooh.
How, book? Oh, you rolled a 1 on your 20.
Screw it. I'm throwing a legend point at the damn book.
Is that legal?
We've done it
Yes.
before.
It's not illegal.
Okay,
Another one. Wow.
yeah, but the result's much better this time.
Holy
Don't-
crap.
Don't blame my inability to roll.
It's rolling 5 dice. Like at least 2 of those exploded.
Yep. So
But how do you roll that one twice in a row? I mean, at this point, roll just for the hell of it and see if you fail your death saves.
Throws book into volcano. Book fails death saves.
You rolled a third one in a row.
I got the hat trick.
Oh shit!
I really do genuinely think that the random number generator on this just breaks sometimes.
Oh look, I got a 4 this time.
See, 20 times 20 times 20, that's a 1 in
A lot.
6,000 chance?
It doesn't matter. I'm taking the 19. The book simply says, do you want to know her position here on this plane? Or where she went?
Where she went, obviously. Where she is now.
I don't know where she is now, but I know where she went.
Actually, why don't you tell us both of those things?
As you wish. Where she went It's Equilor. Actually, no, hang on, not Equilor. That's the wrong place. Equire. They sound similar.
Oh, that's right, because it's limited to being if it's on the same plane or not.
As for where she went, and the book literally projects from its spine a small beam of light that points off into the forest.
Holy crap! Did you know I could do that?
I certainly didn't. Did you,
I did not.
Bulgarian?
The ink swirls again. The mana from the crystals you've handed me allows me to produce more flashy effects.
Like batteries.
Get this book some crystals. I love flashy effects.
I feel like we should contextualize this as it's using crystals from parts of our friend Fizzle.
I could always use your mana.
Yeah.
Never. You know what? When you have an ancient artifact, it never occurs to you to upgrade it, does it?
Oh man.
Why did you have to use the U word around Fizzle?
Because it was accurate.
Oh man.
Come now.
Code. At this point, Malgarin's going to look over to the codex and just ask, are there any of House Casimir near where she went, or where she left this plane from? Or I'm not going to ask for House Casimir. He's going to ask if there are any other magic wielders or magic users or anything like that near where she exited the plane, or between us and that point.
Ahem, fuck you, game.
You rolled a 22 on a d6, but you can't roll higher than a 10 on a d20.
I know, right? Oh, fuck you, game. That's the roll I was hoping for with the first roll. So, the book's ink swirls. There were, not now.
Okay.
I wonder if this departure was recent enough for there to be an astral flow for us to follow.
The book's ink swirls again. Unlikely.
But we should just bumble our way to Equire then.
Sounds like us.
Oh. We have to wait 24 hours though, don't we?
Yep.
Yep.
So,
In
this
the
is
meantime, may I see the codex, Ching?
Of course. Here we go.
I am going to take the codex and run a finger down the spine of the book thoughtfully. Has there been any sign of... And she pauses for a minute, realizing rather abruptly that she no longer remembers the name of her best friend from childhood. Have there been any other creatures from Asgul on this plane?
The ink swirls. To my knowledge, no. There are Viashino here, a tribe of green and blue-scaled lizard folk. Vane encountered both. However, no, there has been none from Adskoll, to my knowledge, unless it happened the last month while we've been gone.
So it was truly a dream, not a transference.
The book warms in your hand. You feel its presence inside your head as you ruminate on the dream.
I'm going to release a surge of both red and black mana to the book.
Okay. It records the dream straight from your head, based off your thoughts on it.
Does this recording, is this like a playback video of the dream?
It's a written record of it with almost perfect accuracy.
It's an RP post.
Does it include whatever the hell we named the other Viashino?
Yes, the name is there.
Okay. Was that dream set on Moraganda?
The book's ink swirls and simply replies, no. It was, I believe, cobbled together from memories.
My memories?
Yes, your memories.
Memories
He took what?
that I no longer possess.
Yes. I believe that your patron constructed a scene to teach you something, give you a hint. His motivations I can only theorize. He seemed trying to give you a message. But that location does not exist on this plane. It is instead cobbled together from aspects of this forest and other aspects in your memory. Actually, it kind of does. Yes, man, it does have a couch psyche degree.
I'll allow it.
Perhaps the dream was meant to be less direct and more symbolic.
Is that not the way of these things?
Unfortunately.
You said it was in a forest, a place surrounded in life, and all of your powers are rooted in death. The juxtaposition is not exactly lost.
The irony is not mistaken. Thank you. And she hands the book back to Jing.
Any closing thoughts, Lord Book?
The ink swirls, and it mimics Zestrazos, I think is how we say his name.
Yes, yes.
Zestrazos' words from the dream. What is the hardest part of a hostage situation? And then the page goes blank.
Lord Book, such a joker. That was horrifying. What was that?
An excerpt from the self-same dream.
The
My
hardest part of
page.
a hostage situation?
What's going on? I stopped listening.
Depends on whether you're the hostage or the hostage taker, I suppose.
I have lost my notebook with my notes in it from last session.
Oh no.
So, judging by how many times this has happened, I can only assume that after every session you diligently jot down some notes and then you just throw them like a frisbee.
No, I found it. The hardest part of a hostage situation. He killed him. Someone who was once a friend. Now a memory. Stolen. She gestures at the book. Frustrated. Tired.
I can say from experience that sometimes the hardest part is either realizing that you're in one or trying to figure out how much information to let the hostages get away with.
Who killed whom now?
My patron toys with me yet. Maybe that is the point.
So what? We should kill your patron?
Gladly, if we can find him. Find a way back to Asgul when I no longer possess the memories or the ability to walk the trails through the multiverse that would lead us there.
We'll put a pin in that then.
Do you suppose if one of us jumped at Asgul, you could follow the Astral Rift?
If you knew the way.
To be honest, I still don't really know how this whole thing works. Every jump I've made has been either following a rift or accidental.
None of us know the way, but we do know some people who might.
Like an
One of
entire
them-
plane of portals.
Oh yeah, there's that. But I was just thinking, one of them is going to school on my home plane right now, and she knows a whole bunch of other people who might know. But sure, yeah, let's do that other one later. Though we were doing something right now.
You can simply
Looking-
contact her and ask me.
Looking for it'll come to me.
Amatrine.
Amatrine.
No, not that one.
Tank?
Yes, the tank. I'm kidding. I know who we're looking for.
Anyway, like I said, we have to wait a day before we can leave here anyway to try and track what happened to Amatrine. So we can go follow the trail of where she went before leaving the plane and see if there are any hints or signs or clues or anything of how exactly that went. And either we can all go do that, or I can stay here and help unbury Vane's tomb. Unless someone else has another idea.
Can't imagine it would take all four of us to scout out an empty crime scene.
As an interjection, for the people who discovered the codex does contain descriptions of Asgul, locations there that you could use to planeswalk.
That is it.
Yeah, that's half of its purpose.
Oh, okay. I don't know why, but I just every time I looked at that name, that's not how I pronounced it in my head. Even though now that I'm thinking about it, it's the only way that makes sense.
What?
Yes.
Asgol.
Oh.
I kept misreading that. So, yeah, with that little thing, it's like, okay. So we're gonna rewind that a tiny bit. But yes, so you don't know how to get there, but the book does, and even if your patron's magic means that you can't do it on your own initiative, we could. So we can. Let's find out what happened to Amatrine, and then we can figure out if we need to intervene. And if not, then we can go back to your plane.
A fair deal. You have my blade.
So, gonna go find Amatrine and then spend some time reinforcing this camp.
Malgarian's gonna offer to Arikari that he can go turn into the bigger form that took her breath away last time, and go help clear out the entrance of all the giant frickin' rocks.
That would help us a great deal. It's very treacherous down there.
Cool beans. While you and I work on that, send some of your scouts to go help the others with trying to figure out what happened to Amatrine.
Okay.
Unless you have particular need of me, I'll be staying here to help with the tomb.
You're a smart cookie, Jig. You might actually be able to help piece together what happened with Amatrine if the others can't. And then a little bit of like a more leaned in, quieter comment, like Fizzle's smart too, but she's 8. She can't focus. And at that point, you're relying on Akvis to figure out what happened to somebody that she's never really met for more than you did.
I see your point. Very well.
So what's the plan again?
You're gonna go find Sparkly Winged Friend.
Can I use Vidus as the divining rod again?
That's a thick pause there from Josh.
I mean,
How did we use him as a divining rod again?
Picked up his femur.
his perception is significantly better than Akvis's, and it was the best that we had at the time, and he was a vibrating bag, and we played
You can
games.
use
Follow the boner.
You can use him as a bloodhound, yes. You have the crystals, you can probably use him to find to help out. Plus you have the book that will literally point you like a compass to where you need to go.
Yeah, we just gotta follow the laser light, really.
Can I have advantage because we have the book?
You may have advantage because you have the book.
How many advantages is this?
One whole advantages on a roll that you don't need to make, son of a bitch.
It's fine. Vidus takes a pointer like a setter dog stance. His tail stuck out straight behind him, one claw in the air, and his nose stretched forward.
So you follow the beam of light through the forest.
Yep.
Which Vidus hopefully finds for us.
with Vidus following you closely by.
You know what we really need? A cat. A cat would be all over that beam.
The other Vidus that is not chasing the beam intently is rolling around playing in it.
Yeah, dog and a cat, great. So, Eventually, it leads you to a clearing where the beam of light kind of dies down. It has been a month. However, the signs of combat are not unmistakable. Specifically, the Fizzle Ametrine style of combat. Several trees in this clearing are clearly blown apart by lightning. The earth itself seems torn out in chunks and hurled elsewhere. There are several large fireballs and burned plant matter. And more importantly, there are black feathered arrows everywhere. Black feathered arrows that you recognize because they were shot at you once. Or
Not at me.
Akvis hisses.
they're everywhere.
Well, that explains something, at least.
Alright. Where's Ametrine?
Also, Fizzle, yes, they were shot at you. They were shot at you on a boat.
She didn't go down without a fight, did she?
But
If indeed she went down.
the question then stands, are they from the same individual as when we were here last, or someone else?
Man doing the arrow trick?
Hmm.
This is something of a long shot, but Jing will look for signs of the weird frozen arrow trap fighting style that they know he used. Which I guess I don't have to be real crazy there. I just find some arrows.
The Vidus, while Jing is doing that, the Vidus that had been following the beam of light is going to go pick up an arrow and bring it back to Akvis like a proud dog with a stick.
Wait, what is Zeus doing? Sorry.
He went and grabbed an arrow and brought it back like a stick.
There are arrows actually around?
Yeah, plenty of them.
Oh. Okay, then yeah, that's probably the same guy.
But yes, any chance of a planeswalker's path for a walk would be long gone. It normally only lasts about 24 hours.
Jing will sniff around for blood.
There is blood. Or there was about a month ago.
What kind of?
Both sets of blood smell alien. They're not human. Ametrine was definitely not human. And her opponent, despite having, well, his blood is weird. It's clear.
Ew. So, which is there more of?
Hard to say. It's been a month.
All I care about is signs of walking, planes walking.
We're not going to find those, unfortunately.
He did just say they're only usually good for a day, and it's been a month.
Did he?
Look.
I missed that part.
The
No,
book.
I noticed.
The book. The
This
book.
was pointless. Why are we here?
Jing will pull out the book again.
Okay.
Lord Book, did anyone else go to Equire?
Yes.
So they left together.
This was all just a setup, wasn't it? So I couldn't go fix the tank.
No, but if it makes you feel any better, I will start planning the next setup to stop you fixing the tank.
Jing, you're on thin ice. You helped me move my girls so they could see the sun. But you're on thin ice right now.
So too must these cavemen see their own sun and not only yours.
What? I was gonna fix the wheels and I was gonna take the cannon off. Maybe put in a nice spot where they can, just shoot some. Wait, are they using primitive bows yet? Give them a bunch of arrow slits.
Child-proofing a tank seems somewhat impossible.
Well, it won't have a cannon anymore, which is really sad because cannons are amazing.
It will still be more than capable of running them over, you know.
I'm going to say Arikari came with you guys. Oh, no, she was Mulgarian. One of the, but she did send some scouts. So the scouts are with you, and he goes, actually, she has a good idea.
Thank you.
Very well. You have their
Somebody
permission.
here appreciates me.
Well, the reason that we weren't too fond of it before is because certain individuals get very excited with the powder and the boom.
I can understand this.
Yes.
And they put too much and killed 6 of us.
You are currently talking to one such person.
All right, that's fine. It's fine. Like I said, I'll remove the cannon. I'll put it in a nice big spot for archers to sit in with some arrow slits.
This would
It'll be
be
good.
because it hauls lots of weight, and the beasts of the forest do not care for the sounds it makes, which makes it safe. Yes.
Excellent. We've got a plan.
So, a less in-character question. The little blurb about Equire that I can access through the plane is what it says in the book, like word for word?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask a weird question.
Uh-huh.
Lord Book, what is the name of the very large inhabitant of the tallest tower?
The booking swirls. The Collector.
Lect?
The Collector.
That does not sound promising at all.
Is he looking for the Infinity Stones?
No. It is ill-timed that that movie comes out right now.
It really is.
The book continues. The individual doesn't have a name, just a title, the Collector, because that's what he does. He collects things.
Why don't people have names anymore? It's a good concept. It works.
Because he's lived since the last planar cycle.
Because it's scryable, that's why. And inconvenient for everyone else.
Shut your mouth.
Fizzle, do you have any reason to believe Ametrine might have ties to Equire?
Nope.
According to the book, this collector is known to hire agents from outside his plane. That seems to fit a lot of what's going on, actually.
Also, Gradius, I sent you a thing on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
So you think this collector collected the Ametrine? Is that what you're saying?
Entirely possible. Or had something that he was willing to trade for Ametrine.
Uh-huh.
Can't imagine why else the vampire or Ametrine would go there. It's kind of a mess going by this entry. To be honest, I asked because I thought I was expecting a different answer there. But do you know if Ametrine was conscious when she jumped?
The book swirls its ink again and simply replies, "No, I do not. I know the paths they took because that's what I looked up. I don't know the state of the fight or um, the status of the individuals."
Can you show us the fight?
I shall try. Time for Josh to roll another one.
Now, make sure to wear your 3D glasses, because it'll really make the fight pop.
Why, yes, it can.
Oh.
So the book instructs you, hold me up to the field.
Jing will do so.
It's literally like looking through a moving photograph made in ink. Wherever you point the book, you get to see what happened a month ago. Through this, and it will replay over and over and over again. Through this, you get to watch the fight itself. A man who you have seen before. I shall throw up his token for, the sake of things. If I remember where I put it. There you go. He breaks through the tree line and flees into the clearing, followed quickly by Amateur. Like a movie, the other side of the book's page actually states dialogue. As Amatrine identifies the individual as the Gem Hunter and pronounces vengeance. And this is apparently the individual that she's been seeking all this time. And thus they begin to fight. Amatrine using her elementalism to conjure various elements and throw the literal earth at the individual, and him using his somewhat malevolent white magic and use of archery to effectively fight back. The fight goes on for quite quite a period, maybe about 6 minutes, before before the individual gets a lucky shot, which knocks Ametrine to the ground, breaking several small pieces off her wing. Ametrine has not gone down, unceremoniously. She has broken several pieces of the individual's armor, as well as causing him to bleed a clear blood. Or at least it looks clear in the books. The individual then wanders over to the disabled Ametrine, picks her up, and planeswalks away with her.
So she was conscious or no?
Conscious but disabled.
Okay.
Jing will kind of wince, close the book before it gets to the very, very end.
There is something else you notice, however. Remember when I said the man's armor was damaged?
Uh-huh.
It reveals his chest. Right where his heart should be, the flesh curls around a large mana crystal, about the size of 2 human fists.
That's distressing.
I'm sorry, what was it? It cut out for a second.
In his chest, right over his heart, like right where his sternum should be,
Mm-hmm.
the flesh curls, like in a natural way.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like it's grown from his chest, is a large mana crystal the size of 2 human fists. White and perfectly, pristine.
Fucking Kael'thas.
Well, I believe we have our homunculus.
The book replies, I'm not sure it is a homunculus.
Are you sure?
The humanoid form, the clear blood, the gemstone in his
Gaping.
chest. These are all representations of a race from Ametrine's plane called the Jumi.
Called the cutout?
Jumi. Jumi. An immortal race whose lifespan is prolonged by a pure mana crystal in their chest, which is grown inside them.
Planes still hold many wonders, I see. These creatures just occurred that way naturally?
Yes, there's an entire species of them. Much like Ametrine species, they are hunted due to the excessive purity of the mana crystal, which grows inside their chest.
Right.
However,
I don't understand why he would take her to Equa. I thought the vampires wanted the mana crystal, build more of their bark capture devices.
out of character, the vampires are working for the Lord of the Tower, who is the one architect, who's the architect of all of this. They are agents, very well-to-do agents. Well, used to be well-to-do agents with their own agenda as well, but they have been working for him.
So the Lord on the Tower is probably another non-name like the Collector, or they might be the same person. I don't know.
Or they might be the same person, because he lives in a big tower and is referred to as the Lord of the Tower.
And Josh is not very clever.
Well, I was more going to lead that into the whole thing of he lives in a big tower, is the Lord of the Tower, and he showed up at the same time as House Casimir, which is who we chased into the plane with a bunch of portals.
I just
So-
wildly assumed that if it was the same guy, the book would have just called him the Lord of the Tower.
Well,
Unless
unless
the book
he's
doesn't
giving,
know better.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the book is relatively intelligent, but you know it is an encyclopedia, and encyclopedias don't list conjecture.
No, but I mean, they do list. Someone's got like 5 names. Anyway, it's my own
If
fault
it
for
knows
not-
that they're associated, it may not just be cross-referenced yet, is what I was trying to get at.
Uh,
But yes, at this point, there's probably nothing left you can garner from this clearing.
well, unless girls want to do anything else, I guess it's just time to head home.
Take me back to the tank. And Arikari.
Backfish shakes their head and kind of gestures for the others to lead.
And off we go.
Off we go.
So when you guys get back, because this was a fair hike, right?
Yes.
So there's a small outer wall made out of what looks like just large large bricks made it from the frickin' tomb.
Oh, lithomancy and its love of geometry. Triangles, cubes, spires.
Bing will cup a hand to his mouth and say, "Hail, Broodlord! Have you had fun playing with your blocks?"
The next one that he swoops down, as that's being exclaimed, he just kind of is hovering for a moment, and he just drops it from 30 feet up.
Is that a no?
The stone crackles with blue mana as the remaining magical circuits within it attempt to function.
If Arikari is anywhere nearby, Fizz will wave at her enthusiastically and then just go right for the tank.
Oh no, she's fixing the tank.
Agnes, will you debrief the Broodlord on what we found out?
Of a certainty. And
Thank you,
Agnes
dear.
will proceed to kind of bring Malgarian up to speed on the fact that they just found more evidence of previous encounters.
Jing will now teleport on top of the block that Malgarian dropped and start studying the circuitry.
Okay, so assuming Malgarian's up to speed at this point, pausing from building a wall.
He's gonna build a wall and make the Miragonids pay for it.
Malgarian is an asshole, but that's that's a really unfair comparison.
I wouldn't call it a comparison.
It kind of was.
Anyway, so Mogarian was going to say something.
Anyway, so we have an idea of what direction Amatrain has been taken. We have reason to believe that we may now know where all of this is kind of hinging from, potentially. And if nothing else, we can take out another ally of some of the enemy who has been trying to hunt us down after having already captured Amatrain. Sounds like we need to go to Equior and see how many explosives we can shove into their tower. Well, except for the fact that if they're collecting the Planeswalkers there, because the House Casimir figured out how to make the jars, right? But they weren't the ones really doing it.
House Casimir stole the plans to make the jars. They weren't the ones who figured out how to do it.
Oh, that's right. That was Kethis that it was his notes that let them do that.
Kethis figured out how to pull souls out and contain them in things. They stole that and passed it off to someone else, who you never figured out who that someone else was.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this conversation to less overarching and more straight into character. So, like, everybody's like kind of standing, like, we'll say standing next to this partially constructed wall. Malgarian just kind of lays down so that he's a little bit closer to everybody.
We know where an ally of House Casimir has been taking people, or at the very least took Amatrain. There's a logical connection to what you found, Jing, when asking the book about the tower and potentially its relation to the ward in the tower. And if nothing else, this bounty hunter seems to be operating out of that area. What I want to know if it sounds to anyone else like I am jumping to too much of a conclusion here, that we may want to call the Sphinx and the Golem Kethis and consolidate all of our efforts on here in an attempt to try and end this in one motion. If
Have you heard anything about his legal action against the House, whatever they were?
Not since I called him to inform him that the Dragon Council at Imulterra has officially declared that actions taken by House Casimir as an act of war on the behalf of the Lord in the Tower.
This collector fellow is another co-conspirator. It shouldn't be too hard to lump him in proceedings.
But getting back to my initial question, does it seem to anyone else like this is too much of jumping to conclusions?
I don't think so. It all seems to fit. I can't imagine why else he'd simply wander off to an unrelated plane with the object of their affection.
At that point, Malgarian just kind of winces. It's at the like in any other context, the application of that phrase would just be kind of worthy. Anything from Sarah or Emily?
What? How? What? Nah, I got nothing.
Fizzle can't hear you over her tank.
Yeah, there you go. Can't hear you over tank.
All right.
Clang, clang.
But anyway, no. What I was saying is like after a little while and sitting down to try and discuss it, Malgarian is asking if it feels to anybody else like trying to come down on this collector in the tower is too much of jumping to conclusions.
Well, we don't gotta come down on him. We just gotta go visit and say, "Hey, what's up? Did you see
And if
our
we-
friend?"
And if we walk in and it turns out that they are the enemy, it would be best if we had allies ready to come with us. And that's what I'm concerned about and curious about. If we get a hold of the Sphinx, the riddle of faces, I believe it was.
I don't know, something about riddles.
If we bring them, or at the very least discuss it with them, and potentially try to bring in the Golem Kethis, or Golem-Answer Kethis, it only makes things easier for us. But if we're wrong, it only makes it look like we're jumping at shadows. The problem is we have no concrete evidence to run off of because unfortunately this Lord in the Tower has been very efficient at making sure that there's nothing but shadows to jump at.
I mean, that's why we just go for a visit. Also, if you really want to, we can just like strap ourselves with a bunch of explosives, and if things get dangerous, we'll just threaten to blow them all up with us.
That brings a question, Josh.
Yes.
If it's a self-immolating explosion, does our spark automatically, vault us through the planes?
Yes.
Oh, cool. That sounds neat.
I was actually going to point out that this is like a country-sized tower, right? Like, if you read Equior's thing, it's not a small place. It's a plane that's just a giant castle.
All right, but
So we bring really
he's not gonna
big
want to
explosives.
explode with us. Like, we're gonna go there and we're gonna see this guy, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, ha, ha, I was trapped the whole time." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well then we're gonna explode you with us." He's not gonna want that. We're not talking about like the whole tower. That would take a lot more prep work.
And so it comes back to Fizzle's quest to find a bomb big enough to blow up an entire plane.
We can do the math for that.
We could.
Fizzle has just become a mad scientist. She's trying to work out a doomsday device. This is what's going on.
I would suggest compromise. We probably don't have enough to go to the Riddles Tribunal, but he does have a secondary group of interlopers who may be willing to dance to a simpler tune, if you get my meaning.
No, I don't.
No.
Okay. The Riddles Guild of Do-Gooders. We tell them the situation, ask them to be ready to jump to Equire on our mark, and it turns out we need an army, we have one. If it doesn't, no harm done, we leave.
I suppose that. Oh, wait, hold on.
I suppose that also does bring up the point that we could simply ask if he has any cases already open against someone who would fit that description on Equior. And his planar answering machine has made it very clear that he is also inundated with work, though that given how long he was present on Teodoric's plane, it's pretty apparent that he can also step away from the office, as it were, for a little while. Since his team was operating for a time there, and had been around beforehand as they traveled with him. Oh, forget it.
And at that point, Malgarian's going to pull out his mirror, and he's going to call him.
Yes, I was going to say, regardless, we're going to have to talk to him at some point.
Alright, so you ring Riddle's mirror. The Sphinx appears in all his jackal-headed glory.
Oh, that's what he looks like.
And just to double check, Josh, what was his name again?
The Riddle of Shapes.
Riddle of Shapes, not faces. Got it.
Hey, Riddle Steel, how's it going?
Hi.
Malgarian's just going to lift one of his forelimbs, and he's going to push Fizzle back out of the shot from the mirror.
Hey, all right, I'm going back to tank. Bye.
Play with the tank.
Yes, I will. Oh, sorry, Corey's not busy.
Yes.
You remember when I discussed with you that we had one of our number that had gone missing after we had separated in Morriganna about a month ago now?
He for a moment picks up a scroll, reads it. Guilty.
I'll take
Yes,
that as a yes.
I do remember. Sorry, doing a little work.
I understand. After investigating that, we believe that it seems circumstantial, but we may have figured out where the Lord of the Tower is. The one who's been giving the orders to House Casimir, and it apparently seems additionally a bounty hunter that had been after the Planeswalker Amatrain. How familiar are you with Equior?
Giant castle plane, many giants, and other unsavory creatures.
Do you
Very
have any case? Do you have a case open against someone who goes by the name of the Collector? any information about their general demeanor.
Bailiff, while we're in recess, any cases on a collector? The collector.
From Equior.
From Equior. No cases. You hear the bailiff talk off screen. It's not very visible what it says. Besides, it should be more computer voice anyway. No cases against a collector. You mentioned that there was a bounty hunter after. I don't know who this Ametrine person.
Ametrine was the planeswalker that we separated from, and at that point he's gonna kind of relay the. Well, actually, better yet, he's gonna pull up the codex because we're gonna say that this was something that he had planned out, and he's gonna hold up the picture of the bounty hunter dude with his whole outfit, with a shot of him and Ametrine fighting.
That man's wanted on at least 6 planes.
Yes, and he took her to Equior. 2 members of races that are known for the crystals of their body being sought after commodities, and he's taking her to a plane, to an individual known as the Collector. And we know that he then also came to attack us. After we now know that he had already collected Ametrine. So his mark is not just her for her wings. His mark was Planeswalkers. All of which is currently in line with the rest of the case.
Well, we have more than legal precedent to pursue the gem hunter if he is on Equior. Are you implying that you want to chase him?
Yes, and I know from our prior discussion that you had said that pretty much we are on our own to do so, on our own initiative to do so. But given the scale of the issue, that is why we wanted to make sure that you were apprised of the situation and your professional outlook on the situation.
I believe I can do something for you.
You believe you can what now?
I believe I can do something for you. If you are going to pursue this officially, I can give you official deputization on behalf of the Tribune. Give us a moment to find your position.
Out of character, does that, other than the fact that it gives us pretty much protection from retaliation by the tribunal for doing things, which we wouldn't have necessarily gotten in the first place anyway?
It probably... Keep in mind I'm flying off the cuff here.
Yeah.
It would grant you a certain amount of legal immunity to pursue individuals. Now, depending on the plane, they might not acknowledge authority of that nature that comes from outside themselves. It just makes sense that that's something you do, where I'd just be like, hey,
Yes.
You're going to be working on my behalf, well, I can give you a deputy's badge.
I guess to bring it in character, it would be more of a, like, you know, all right, bring it back in character for a second.
The gesture is appreciated, Riddle. But you also know that we are going to do this regardless of legal protection. More of the concern would be someone who has the presence and or power to keep so many of these others in line while still maintaining control of this whole scheme? Well, as Fizzle would say, this is less a concern of authority and more potentially a concern of firepower.
I heard my name. What's going on?
Explosions.
Nice.
You need backing. Add an army.
Yes. And unfortunately, while the Dragon Council has declared, as we discussed, has declared this an act of aggression, they have no means of coming to assist. And so therefore we must discuss this with you.
I believe that I can mobilize a few of our officers to assist you in investigating Equior, especially if a known criminal, such as the Gem Hunter, is on there. I will see if there's a way for us to mobilize your dragons. It might take a little while to see if there's a gateway to Equior.
Out of character.
I would appreciate that. I will get in contact with the Dragon Council and let them know that it is being investigated, so that the Brood Lords in control of the Council may coordinate and act accordingly once a plan is available. In the meantime, I will contact the Golomancer Kethis, who has been monitoring House Casimir. And are there any others that you believe that should be brought into this?
I will send as well some of my troubleshooters.
Excellent. Oh, whoops.
Excellent. I propose that for the moment, seeing as it is an out-of-the-way place in which is hard, somewhat difficult to poke one's nose around without becoming incredibly obvious, Muragana may be an appropriate staging point for collecting any of your interplanar enforcers. That way, we have all of our assets in one place, and they're less. What's Jing? What's that phrase about chicken eggs and a woven basket?
They're delicious.
Never mind.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
What the pixie said.
True enough.
But in this case, you're less likely. That is not the phrase that I was thinking of. Then, what point is, if all of our assets are in one location, they are less likely to be picked off one by one, which is what the Gem Hunter has been apparently taking full advantage of. Catch individuals.
This is true. So, Mulgari and I will also. This is just a ponderance of mine. But if the Lord of the Tower and the Collector are in fact the same individual, there is every potentiality that there are two armies that we can field.
Yes. Continue.
He has at this point taken a lot of Planeswalkers. Enough to be a second army.
Assuming that they are not all in jars, allowing his minions to planeswalk. Yes, that is a consideration that I've been making.
Good. We're on the same line.
Yes, this is as much about potentially, regardless of my opinions about some of these Planeswalkers' ideologies, the goal here is to minimize the damage that his campaign has caused and to end it if this is the Lord of the Tower that we've been looking for. Freeing those Planeswalkers only helps.
Very well. I shall get the pieces moving. He reads over another scroll. Verdict in favor of the plaintiff.
Is there anything else that you would wish to discuss, Riddle, before I let you get back to your work?
A long vacation.
If I had the authority to grant it, after all of this is done, I'd help you retire.
Oh, I don't think I'll ever be ready to retire. Just a nice, long vacation. I shall speak with you soon, Bulgarian.
Stay safe.
And then at that point, Malgarian's going to turn off the mirror.
Good day, Lord Riddle. Keep being a cosmic sphinx.
Crazy cosmic.
Hey, Fizzle,
Baha.
would you like to accidentally a war?
What kind of question is that?
One that I thought you might enjoy.
You thought correctly.
So, as far as number of allies that we could potentially tap for this, there's no way to get anything from Tedrix's plane, even if they had the forces to do so. Riddle has offered to try and help figure out if there's a way to get the dragon broods of Ilmontera to Equior, in which case we would be able to drop the might of all 5 broods, which has not happened in centuries.
Do you want me to call them for you?
And I will take care of it. I'm not certain that your seat would exactly jump at the wanting to talk to you. He's a grump. You know that.
I mean, that's true. But still. You know, in case you don't want to talk to those jerks.
No.
Alright. Alright. It's
I'll take.
it's not really about you. It's that I just wanna rile them up some more. It's so much fun.
Oh, I know it is, but your tank's still not working.
You make a fair point.
So, what would be good though is you may wish to go talk to your girlfriend, your student friend back home and see if she wants to be part of this or not.
Oh sure, that'll be fun.
Never got to write that thesis.
Jing, we're currently in the business of mobilizing armies. You have time, unless you wanted to study. Oh, I guess.
And at this point, he's going to half turn and with a forelimb, he's going to point at the now open entrance to the tomb.
Unless you wanted to study the Golem Guardians inside. built by the same planeswalker who made the Codex, with about the level of intricacy.
Jane will literally teleport into as far into that tomb as he can get.
You find a deep vault with 5 mana crystals in all 5 colors. You find a home with a burned library, a core corpse encased in diamond panels. And yes, the hallway you walk down to get to all this has golems set into the walls. Golems with the same magical circuitry that you saw before. And I'm not saying that like they're sitting in the wall like they're statues. I mean that like literally they're part of the wall, but obviously meant to come out of the wall.
Now, I'm not sure if you all heard that, but if you listen very intently, that was the sound of a fictional character achieving climax.
Bulgarian!
Valkyrian is so far away, he's not going to hear you.
I officially forgive you for being a dick!
Well, at least somebody does.
Alright, and I believe we're approaching our 3-hour mark.
Yeah,
So
I'm assuming that we're just going to kind of hand wave calling Kethis and informing the Broodlords, since it's pretty much just a, hey, we're doing a thing.
and you'd have to roleplay with yourself.
Yeah, that'd be really masturbatory, and I kind of don't feel like doing it.
So I'm gonna to wrap this up. I'm gonna fast forward to the coming night. The tank is fixed and turret removed.
Hooray!
I was gonna make you roll a check for it, but oh well, it's okay. Everyone kind of retires to sleep. You are provided with sleeping quarters.
Sleep? No.
Yeah, she's not sleeping.
Is Sarah still here?
She said BRB again. I have not
I'm
heard
kind
anything
of
different.
here.
Okay. Are you
Okay
gonna
over
do
there?
just a little more roleplay?
I am fading fast, but yes, I'm here.
So, as Actix sleeps, you have another dream.
Of course I do.
This one's back in your home village.
Okay.
Except it's a little different now.
Do I recognize it as being different, or does it feel like it's always been this way?
You recognize it as being different. Some of the buildings are in different places. And
Okay.
now you're walking up, like, I guess towards the center of the village. What was here has been moved. And there's now a stone dais, round, and a big obsidian statue. And as you look up on it, you're looking into your own face.
Well, this is a tad bit awkward.
You are your own patron.
As you stare at it, Zerstrazos walks out from behind it. He's assumed again a different form, this one more Viashino, though he cannot, cover up
Great,
his
the
mouth.
lava god looks like a lizard.
Yes. Actually, he looks like you,
Oh great, the lava god looks like me.
except for he cannot hide the 6 eyes and the massive brimstone teeth. He simply says, "Welcome home." Are you ready for another little talk?
A ploy. A play for power. Manipulation. A promise. Would you want Zerstrazos?
I want to give all of this back. All this exactly as you see it. put that back in your head.
This that was never. You can put that back in my head.
No, this is as it is. This is how it's changed while you've been gone. They practically worship you here now, thanks to help from me.
You have enthroned a new god. Is this what you're telling me?
And the new god is you.
Ascendancy, is that what you promised me when you gave me the power to save my people?
No, I promised you literally the power that you asked for.
You
And I
twisted
gave
my words. You twisted my faith and my prayers and left me with the black instead.
the black is all I had to give.
Cast me into the multiverse. Left me to die.
Well, that's what happens when you house a god. Sometimes things don't exactly fill out.
Josh, you bastard. So what is it that you want?
A deal. No taken memories, no manipulations. A deal.
How do I know you tell the truth?
Because haven't I up to this point? You asked for power, I gave you power. Alongside giving you exactly what you wanted.
You have been nothing if not strictly honest.
Yes. And so, I offer this deal. I am fascinated by that little book you and your little group keep using. I would like to use it too, for exactly 3 minutes. No more, no less. You do this, and I'll put the knowledge of how to get back here right into that head of yours at no cost.
And you will cease to meddle in the affairs of me and mine.
That one.
You will cease to meddle in the affairs of those that I count as friends and family. I fully recognize that we are intrinsically intertwined at this point.
Oh, yes. After all, that's the thing. You might not remember it. It'd be too breaking to do so. But I gave you all the power you wanted to turn the tide. But you couldn't really handle it. I am making it so you can, because Zerstrazos does not lie, and he does not break deals.
You have my word.
And you have mine. Get the book, and you will find your pathway home, right in your head where you need it.
Send me back.
It's done. And yes, you wake up.
No twists. I wake up.
No twists.
Akvis stretches and kind of looks around her. The Vidusai are curled up at her feet. And is Jing awake?
He's probably still in the library.
She wanders off in search of the fox.
She finds the fox in the library, right where he had been before.
Jing, I have a question.
I will try to find you a matching answer.
It might prove challenging, but I appreciate the sentiment.
I'm not going to shy away from a challenging question. I wouldn't be much of a scholar, would I?
The nature of planes walking and the space between planes in the blind eternities. I understand that we do not occupy a physical form in the sense of it in that space. But there is still a representation of ourselves and the objects we carry, yes? Such that, for instance, interactions between individuals could occur in the blind eternities themselves.
Theoretically. Can you be more specific?
A conversation. Maybe not in words as such, but a discussion could happen in the process of a walk. Yes?
Don't see why not. It would have to happen I believe it would have to happen in the blink of an eye, but things are not beyond the power of some.
Moments compressed into a fraction of a second, perhaps?
Yes, or vast amounts of data transmitted instantly, and then unpacked at a later date.
Time works in funny ways.
To be honest, I'm not sure if time even passes in the blind eternities.
Perhaps a lifetime's research in and of itself.
Easily. You don't pull your punches on difficult questions, do you?
No one expects them of me. So when I have the opportunities to ask, I like to make them count. Do you have the codex? I have a question for it.
I've fallen short, huh? Very well, here you go.
And Akvis is going to bury her nose in the codex, flipping through it and muttering to herself.
While you're in there, do you suppose you could ask it if this collector has any notable rivals on his home plane?
She will do so.
Thank you, my dear.
Of course.
The book replies, almost due to the territorial nature of every creature on the plane, everyone is technically a rival. You claim kingdoms made of rooms in the castle. However, the collector, being the oldest and largest of them all, frequently does not suffer any form of attempted coup to his tower.
Balance of power were to shift, then others might jump on the chance. It's worth putting away.
Indeed. Smaller shifts in power have toppled planes and empires before. Out of character, we've addressed that the book has some sort of sentience. We've addressed that the book has some sort of, not necessarily an ulterior motive, but a decision-making mechanism.
Yes.
We've addressed that the book has some sort of sense of self, if no internal purpose.
As much as it insists it doesn't.
One does not simply insist that it has no sense of self unless it actually has some sort of sense of self with which to deny it.
Don't get cute. It's a robot.
It's a book. It's fine.
It's a very compellingly written AI.
So,
It is at least shown enough self-awareness to at least have information based, implying it has an interest in self-preservation.
It has motives, yeah. It can't be happy to help unless.
It can't be opposed to being licked unless it has some sort of awareness.
That's not
happened
the heavy duty
twice.
side there.
Anyway, I think, Sarah, you had a point you were getting towards.
Would you be opposed to a conversation? Akvis posed towards the book.
I am not opposed.
A prior acquaintance of mine is curious, and I believe that such a conversation would be best held in a neutral space, such as that found between the planes. Will you join me on our next walk?
Of course.
For that, I am grateful. Akvis kind of gestures outside towards Jing and then makes a vague hand gesture like she's going to go sit outside and continue to read through the book. And as she's walking out, she specifically asks the book about her tribe on Asgul. And whether or
Honestly,
not the book has any current knowledge.
I do not have current knowledge. I have.
Nothing that we don't have.
I have to go to a plane to absorb knowledge of that plane, just as I absorb knowledge from all of you.
And yet you have some knowledge of Asgul already.
Vane took my prototype form, my early construction. Sorry, not prototype. You don't even know that word. My early construction on him with many adventures. This is how I met the collector. This is how I've gone to Asgul. Every location that I know is a place he traveled before finally settling here on Muraganda.
Give me just a sec, guys. Sorry.
No problem. And no, Matt, this asshole is not piecing out with the book. He said 3 minutes, he will get 3 minutes.
Yeah, but like you said that, and in my head, I was like, he's intangible. He could just like piece over to a mountain, ask it a few questions, drop it in. Because I'll admit, like in my head, I'm still stuck in dealing with the Fey mode, where it's like he didn't say he wasn't going to not give it back.
I had meant to say and have him promise that he would give it back to their friends.
That's and you're fine. I'm just trying to be a freaking smartass.
You could also just destroy it and then give you back the husk 3 seconds later.
Don't give me ideas, damn it.
Okay.
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 So, she walks outside with the book.
Wait, now who did we lose? Emily. We lost Emily. Why did we lose Emily?
No idea.
Emily,
found
tell
her
Ashley.
Okay,
Hi, Emily.
I walk outside with the book.
Okay.
And literally, has it been 24 hours since we walked last?
Sure. If only because that makes the story actually flow better.
Literally take a walk. Just a little one, not off plane, well, off plane, but not to a different plane, to the blind eternities.
In your mind, you immediately recognize the way home.
I maintain my grip on the book, but let it fall open as it will.
Okay.
And close my eyes. and speak Zerstraza's name.
He appears in your mind.
Have we made our peace for now?
Not for now. I can't appear off the plane. I am a god. We are anathema to what you are. I am forever bound here on Asgard. If you are concerned that your friends will not get their book back, I can assure you it will be unharmed and returned to them.
There's a moment of hesitation. Back on Maraganda, one of the Vidusi claws and scratches at Malgarian. And it whines. His head dips. He rolls over on his back and kind of squirms around in the dirt like something might be horribly wrong. And then he walks as Akvis steps off towards Asgul, pulling the fragments of her spark that are in the two Vidusi with her.
All right. You arrive at the two Dusai right in the caldera of Zerstrazos' volcano. You are home. This part of it is exactly as you remember it. Exactly where you prayed and exactly where you made the deal before. Zerstrazos bubbles up from the pit below, arms folded, looking down at you. Now we have made our peace. And he holds his hand out for the book.
I will not kneel before you. Now or ever. But I have withheld this side of it. You will return the book.
You would not be a good toy or avatar if you ever vowed.
You do not own me now, nor have you ever. And she holds out the book.
He takes it. The pages fly as they, like, as though it is, dang it, sorry, brain going dead. The pages flip through rapidly as he simply says, Codex of the Eternities. I wish to know everything about my rivals. Take all the mana you need. Images float across the books of other dark gods that exist on Nazgul. Their strengths, their weaknesses, everything. Their origins. And then he smiles and simply closes his hand around the book. It has been exactly 3 minutes, as he promised. Back on Muraganda, the book appears right at Mulgarian's feet.
May I use a handful of legend points to include a note from Akvis explaining what she has done?
Yes.
That I
2
will
points.
write at a later point in time.
That's a good thing, because I was writing up a post about how Malgarian was about to go on Warpath again.
The book
The
appeared.
note is included.
So this is your game. Power. And I will help you.
Yes. After all, we're after the same thing in the end. peaceful home at any cost.
It has already come at great cost.
Yes. This is the nature of black, my dear. Sacrifice, either of others or of the self. The greatest power coming from the self.
Yeah, imagine how much. Oh, sorry.
You have given me the strength to see that, and the power to make certain that I can do what must be done here. And in turn, the Viashino will follow the red and the black. And we will fight for you, as I see now must be the case.
And that's where we're going to end it this week. So,
Can we jump back to Muraganda really fast?
yes, let's jump back to Muraganda. Bulgarian roars.
Jing is literally vibrating.
Give me a second. Alright, what was up? Sorry?
So, we've gone back to Muraganda. Bulgarian roars. Jing is literally vibrating. And 3 minutes later, the book appears at your feet, Bulgarian.
So, in that 3 minutes, what I'm going to say is that he had pretty much already gotten to his feet, flown over the camp, hollered for Fizzle, who can't stay connected, to get up and get to the tomb now. At which point, once he gets to the entrance, he could feel the rift from when she planeswalked from there. And then he's going to holler into the tomb itself for Jing, like, pretty much, Jing, get out here. And then once the fox is in line of sight, he's going to say, he's just going to ask you, where did she go?
Jing has no idea where she went, but he does realize that she was talking weird about standing between planes and talking to other people.
Uh-huh. And then once the information about here you go, we'll get all poetic with the timing here. It's like, once he mentioned that she had the book, at that point Malgarian is going to be livid pissed. But then when the book appears, he's just really confused, because at this point he was fully expecting that she took the book and left. He's like, I'm going to freaking murder a lizard lady.
The gist of the letter, or the note, in the book is trust. Remember what was said, and I will be there when I am needed.
I think Agnes just got you guys an army.
Got us what?
Sword dancers.
Okay, that doesn't really answer my question, but
Agnes
I mean,
got
that's
you an
not the
army.
angle. Yay. See, in here I thought that this was that it was going to be more seeding a thing of, oh, I'm gonna get in close with buddy little freaking fire death god over here, and then we're going to destroy him.
I mean, that could be a thing.
Agnes
Yeah,
could
that-
be playing coy, who knows? But he hasn't lied to her yet.
I'm kind of surprised how amicably that ended myself.
I think that's because we all really distrust Black, which is funny because Liliana is apparently the most popular character.
Anyway, I'm going to play some music and we're going to take it out and we'll discuss afterwards. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.